Welcome to another edition of Tom's Real Food Podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by this week's video. That's right, eating clean, keto clean eating. Let's go to the podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Tom Garver, the Keto Cook. Today on Tom's Real Food Podcast, we're going to have a sort of a hodgepodge of topics that we're going to bring up. But first of all, in the beginning, you see in the commercial that I make my own commercials to promote my own videos. I have no sponsors, so that's why I do it. But it's kind of interesting. As I was making this, it was actually a refrigerator clean out. You'll see on Wednesday the fall. I don't want to give the whole thing away, but talking to my wife, and I said, you know what, we got a couple things in here we need to use up right away, and I said, let me see exactly how I'm going to fix this. So last week, if you paid attention or if you watched, I made pork fried rice. Now this comes from the same pork tenderloins. Now there's 2 pork tenderloins into a pack. Probably get them like $6, $7, $8, depending on the size. And they are actually the filet mignon of the pig. So there comes 2, one on either side. So I cooked one up for that pork fried rice, and then I roasted, as I was making that video, I roasted the other one it was actually the next day. But that video went up for this week. And what it compiles of is 2 zucchini that I sliced on a slicer. Everything is pretty much cut the same width and length. Also, the pork, I sliced it, left it whole, and sliced it kind of thin, maybe 1/8 of an inch, every component of it, and put it together. Now, the only thing I use that was from a can was tomatoes. 4 carbs per quarter cup, I think it was. That's good. You can find stuff like that. So the price, what it cost me, and the nutritious value that I got out of it was top shelf. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is it doesn't seem to me that the food prices are going to go down no matter what anybody says. This is a capitalistic country, and people are out to make money, and they're going to make it, and I have nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying nothing wrong about that. But no political party can stop them from making their money. So, now, voting's over. Thank God it's over. I couldn't stand another minute of it. I don't get political here, and I also I don't do conspiracy theories, but some I have a lot of questions about. Now, the one thing that I did particularly like about the turnout was whether you like the guy or not, what Robert F. Kennedy's been saying. He's been saying it for years, and I sort of agree with him on certain parts of it. Now, he is supposedly going to be taken over or in charge of HHS, okay, and that compiles of FDA, which needs to change. It needs to change. CDC and a couple other things that are involved with that. Now, reason why I'm bringing this up, there again, I don't talk politics. You gotta let things play out. But what he hit me with was, guess what? Too much sugar. Way too much sugar. And what I did was I went back, because I never followed the guy or who's ever running for office. And that's the furthest thing from my mind. I got health issues that I want to get taken care of. I wish they would make things different, but they don't. This is what I'm talking about. He railed against sugar, big pharma, big food. Okay, he went after all of them in one of the videos that I watched. He did it on his table. He had a whole bunch of cereals and all different types of things that are not good for us. But, all right, he is going to get a lot of pushback from conventional doctors who really don't see any need for change. It's what we eat, how we eat, everything else like that. But then you have other doctors that I call, that are on YouTube that sort of back what I'm saying or feel the same way I feel about different foods that we eat. So when I say eat clean, I mean nothing out of a box. You heard me say it 1,000 times on here. Please. I'm not a doctor, not a scientist, but I know what worked for me. All right. Now, I fall off the wagon now and then, here and there. And the only person that hurts is me. physically and also mentally, because you know what? You came so far with something, and to have a slice of bread or a piece of pasta or whatever, okay, now you got to start all over again. But now I'm getting older. Starting over is becoming a little bit harder and harder. So to be strict on here it's not hard. Believe me, it's not hard. But some of the vegetables and some of the things that I do eat do have carbs. So a couple weeks ago, there was a company that makes this drink, and I had mentioned it last podcast, that added this melodextrin into their stuff and said, "Oh, I didn't realize that it was in there. We did an outside study." So it was all bullshit, and they lied right from the beginning. All right. So a guy like me, type 2 diabetic, whether it was minute or if it was a lot, all right, that will affect me. Now, if the company's turning around and saying, "Guess what? I didn't realize that it was in there," well, shame on you. You lied. You know what was going on with the whole thing. Your process, when you go to a processor to make your put your ingredients together, they tell you exactly what's going in there, because there's got to be shelf stabilizers in it, also to make it taste right. So an added flavor. So if you have lemon flavored, okay, they got to enhance that. All right. So they lied. They flat out lied. Now there's people who are saying, "Well, it's okay," and I get that. If you are not a type 2 diabetic and you use this stuff to get your electrolytes back, that's all well and good. Guy like me, that would throw me for a loop. So I would have to use, and there's other companies out there that are boasting that they don't use that. But here's the point. It is man-made. It does not grow from the ground or come from any kind of animal products. It is a process, and that is the problem. That's why I rail against anything that comes from in a box, in a can, whatever. That is a process, not good for us. Not good for us whatsoever. So that's what I think what RFK is going. Now, I hope it doesn't become political. I hope it doesn't become a bloodbath as far as this side against this side, because then we're never going to get anywhere. We're not getting anywhere now. From the political system, from when I was younger to now, it's the same bullshit they keep talking about over and over, and nothing's changed. Not one thing has changed. So I think they need to have a little bit of a shake-up as far as getting rid of people who have too many zeros at the end of their paycheck that do nothing. Big Pharma, you got to be careful, what you wish for with them, because they might be pushing these other companies to produce or sponsor them. Let's put it that way. All right. So this is what I'm looking forward to. I'm a little excited about it, because when I first heard him talking about that there's too much sugar, too many high carbohydrates that we're taking in, and even to our kids, that made me stand up. Oh, okay, finally. Now, do I judge the guy? I can't, because you know what? I don't know what his agenda is as of right now. If he goes too far to the right or too far to the left, whatever, and not down the middle to help me and you, then we'll have to talk about that later on down the road. But right now, it's a good sign for us. When I say us, for people who do keto lifestyle, even vegans, even vegetarians, carnivores. It's a good way of looking at how many people now are coming into looking out for their health. Okay, cutting out the sugars, cutting out the carbs, and looking for alternatives. The alternative is junk food. Okay, listen to people. I every Saturday morning, in my car, I listen to out here some radio program, and it's a doctor. I'm not going to mention any names because it's none of my business one way or the other. But how fooled we are, okay, about powdered drinks. And they'll talk about nutrition. Well, when you're into your 50s, 60s, and 70s, and sometimes 80s, you need to drink this stuff to get your vitality back. It's bullshit. I mean, it flat out, eat right, eat clean. And when I say clean, no labels, nothing. And the second point I want to make about this is it's all about the money. Basically, it's all about the money. So Big Food turned around and seen that all of a sudden there was a turn of lower in carbohydrates, eating more vegetables, eating more meats, and what they do, they raise the price of everything. Okay, so the best way to get the best nutrition into your system, fattier cuts of meat, ribeyes went through the roof. I'm from old school. Back in my restaurant, we used to make ribeyes, half inch and a quarter inch. different prices. It was considered a fatty cut of meat that nobody really liked. Now it's big business. Same thing with barbecue with brisket. Brisket was a throwaway meat, and now I seen one this morning. I think it was 18 or 19 pounds. And it was almost $98. It's ridiculous because it's all about the money. Now, my whole point is this video that's coming up Wednesday was a mostly clean out the refrigerator type of deal. I had a couple zucchini. We had some red peppers. We had roasted them up. I love roasted red peppers. Very good with garlic. All fresh ingredients. So the point being is, if the prices are still going up, and I think they're going to continue to go up, because I haven't seen any business yet say, hey, you know what? They're buying ribeyes at $27 a pound. We're going to keep it there because we never made so much money with that. And then all of a sudden it's going to decline where nobody's buying it. All right. But they're not going to lower the price. They're just not going to lower it to where it was. So that's a cold, hard fact. Just like gasoline. I'm going to date myself. Okay. When I started driving, gasoline was actually 20 cents a gallon. Okay. Back east, it was 20 cents a gallon. And I scrimped and scraped when I was in school, change to get, a couple gallons of gas in my car. But there again, it hasn't come back to that, and it never will. Alcohol is up very, very high, more than what I ever seen in my life. Plus, I live in Sin City, so I get that, no problem. But vegetables, they're going. Everything is skyrocketing. Maybe $1 or $2 more now that the election's over. Okay, so gasoline went up a little bit now that the election is over. So it's all driven about this right here. So I'm hoping that with RFK, whatever you think of him, okay, there again, I know who he is. I don't know that much about him, but he is hell bent to get the food right, and I think it's about time. There again, I don't go politics on here, but that perked my ears up when I heard, wow, somebody is finally saying what we've been saying. There's a couple doctors on YouTube. There are a lot of people on YouTube that are saying, well, this is a good thing. This could work out well if it does not get politicized. And, jury's out on that one yet, too. So, okay, so getting back to what I cooked. There is ways around the big, heavy food prices. There again, last whole ribeye I seen, I like to buy the whole things. I don't believe in buying the packaged stuff because I like to cut it myself. I have the capabilities of doing it, and that's why I do it. And it's very easy. It's not really hard to do, all right? So I suggest people start learning a little bit more about their cooking and how to do things at home. And a little secret, okay? If you have a family, young kids and stuff, cut back on the sugar, cut back on the carbs, make different stuff and really talk it up. Like I did in the beginning here. This was something totally different, and it was fantastic. I mean, I said to my wife, I said, God, what a flavor it has. Each component, it had a nice taste. Okay, so it all gelled together. Same thing with that week before I did the pork fried rice. So I got a lot of response from that. And what I did was I made not rice, it's cauliflower, riced cauliflower. And I dried it, put it in the oven, dried it a little bit more so it would adhere to my wok and everything that I added to it. So that was really good. That's why I always say, play with your food. You got to make ends meet. Don't break the bank. And buy practical. I mean, get your stuff. Now they're talking about bird flu. So I can see the future with this, and this is why I'm saying that the prices are not going to come down. So the cheaper cuts of meat right now are going to get hammered. Bacon already skyrocketed to the point where people stop buying it. Now, doing keto, that's relatable. Everybody says, whoa, I bet you eat a lot of bacon. You eat a lot of that fat. Because there's still in that mindset that fat's bad. Corn, good. That's a vegetable. That's good. Totally opposite. In the beginning, I did have a lot. I did have bacon, not a lot, okay? We would have it once or twice a week. All right, but I would incorporate it with certain things. And then I started buying from a restaurant supply. It was the ends when they would square up the pork belly after they smoked it and everything smoked it. They would square it up and take some of the thicker cuts when they would put it through the slicer. And I was getting, that was like maybe 3.5 to 4 pounds of bacon. And I was getting that back then for, I guess it was like $6. Now it's $10.99 because they're catching on. So I haven't buy bacon. But what I do is I go to ethnic stores. Okay, there's a Filipino. It is actually a seafood place, but they have other meats and stuff like that. And I'll get a nice piece of pork belly for cheap, and it's real good. And we'll use that with different dinners that I make and stuff like that. So I shop around. Okay, then I go to a Mexican place called La Bonita. I go there, and I'll get some of their vegetables. You can't go wrong with the vegetables that they have there. I mean, the price is right, and it's always mind-boggling to me is why one big superfood chain, okay, is charging 2 tomatoes for $2.50 or something like that. And when you go to one of these other places, they're like 39 cents a piece or 29 cents a piece. Don't make sense, okay? It really doesn't make sense because it's all basically coming from the same place. So, all right, I don't want to rag too much about that. All right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a little bit of a break. Second half of this podcast is brought to you by Tommy Spice. This is my own blend of salt, pepper, garlic, and onion, all granulated, all tablespoon apiece, equal amounts. Let's get back to the podcast. All right, now you see right there, that's my spice. And I'm going to constantly put that up because it's a good blend. I have other people, a good friend of mine from Charlie from Cooking Secrets for Men. He adopted it. He makes his own up. Now that is all granulated. That is actually either kosher salt or sea salt that I use. And also coarse black pepper, coarse garlic, and also coarse granulated onion. All in that little jar right there. It's all a tablespoon of each, but you can blend it up any way you want. Let's salt. That's up to you. Now, another funny thing is, you got to watch what you buy. But you got to watch how they sucker you into things. Himalayan salt, okay, $9 and change, okay, and then you turn around and look at it, and it has an expiration date. What are you talking about? Okay, Himalayan mountains. That's where they get it from. All right, and it's expiring. It's tainted with something. Something's wrong with that. This is the stuff that I hope that they clear up with the FDA and stuff. Amount of recalls that are, pay attention to this, please, because this can affect you. If you're oblivious to the point where, and I'm not mocking anybody, but if you're oblivious to the point where they're recalling a lot more and more each month for some odd reason. The last one I seen was 5,000 pounds of chicken. I got into it. I read a little bit of it. Excuse me. Read a little bit of it, and then it starts becoming, they use $50 words, and then it just to, get you to buy something else. So I don't know if it's a hoax or whatever. But McDonald's, not too long ago, they got hammered with E. coli. Now, you got to understand. Now, they buy stuff that's pre-cut. And it makes sense in the way of you don't want a 16-year-old or an 18-year-old that has no knife experience cutting up onions. It just makes sense. So, but they went after McDonald's. Why? Biggest name. Who else got involved in this? Well, it's Taco Bell, Burger King, all the players that used chopped up stuff. But McDonald's was the big name. Okay, I didn't hear anything or watch or see anything that was about Taco Bell or about Chick-fil-A or about any other place that was affected by this one producer of the onions and how they prepare their stuff. So there again, FDA, CDC, there's a problem. There is a problem with that. After something goes up on the shelf, all of a sudden, if somebody finds out, wait a minute, there's something wrong with this, That's not right. Same thing with that. I said before about that element, that company there. There again, processed foods. Who's watching? Who's watching what's going on? Are they actually really putting them ingredients in, or are they doing something else? That is a problem for somebody like me with type 2 diabetes, and I keep saying it over and over again because I want people to be aware of it. With this Kennedy thing, I watch on Facebook, all the social media, talking about this guy, and I could care less about him one way or the other. But he's making a lot of sense. He's going to make waves with it. He's already started to. And that stuff makes sense to me. That's what this channel right here is all about. Eating clean and getting your health back. Whether you follow exactly what I do or you follow somebody else what they do, or you're a vegan or whatever. It does not make sense to have this driven into our heads that it's okay to have this sugar. It's good. You seen last week, I showed you again. This is the third time I'm talking about it, that there is 74 plus close to 100 now different names that are for sugar. How they get away with it, putting it on a label, and it's okay through the FDA to send that out to people to eat. Just don't make sense. So the whole idea of what I'm going to start cooking now, and I'm going to show you here, sliced up everything the same width, same length, chopped everything up so it is all nothing out of proportion. Everything cooks the same. Fresh ingredients, whole ingredients, nothing from a box. I do use cans. I'll use clams. I'll use tomato sauce and tomato paste and stuff like that. Virtually, that's about all I use as far as canned goods or prepackaged items. I just don't use them. All right. Now, out here where I live, in the middle of the desert, the entertainment capital of the world, as I would say, all kinds of food. You really got to watch what you're buying. All right. So all the hotels and everything out here, they get the fresh stuff. Okay. Then the frozen stuff. Now, nothing wrong with frozen stuff. There again, I was buying fresh mussels to do different dishes and stuff with. By the time I got home, all right, they were bad. Well, a couple of them were bad, and to me, I got to get rid of the whole thing. That's the way I would work back in the day. So I buy frozen mussels. You can see them open a little bit. Clams the same way. Shrimp, I've been buying shrimp frozen for many, many years. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. So, I mean, be aware of what's going on. Meats, okay? If you see something that's marked down, be aware that, like buyer beware, it was marked up for $28 and now it's $8. Check the label. Pull the tags off. Look at the label when it was supposed to be the sell-by date. Some stuff you can get away with. Other stuff is going to hurt you. You're going to hurt your family. So, talking about that with what's coming up in the future, I don't see this happening right away. I don't see any changes coming right away. I think it's going to be a long fought battle. Also, but just to get everybody aware of it. All right. Now, I know people that turn around and say, well, a little bit of sugar is not going to hurt or anything. Okay, well, there again, it hurt me for many years. Coming out of the restaurant business, tasting everything. Oh, this is good. Let me try that. Let me say that dessert. These are big tops. Let me try that tiramisu or whatever. Okay, I had no business tasting. I just want my head of sugar hit. So, okay, carb cycling. I had somebody ask me about carb cycling, that they hit a dead end, wasn't losing anything, numbers haven't changed, came out of ketosis and stuff, and they said that they read somewhere or seen a video somewhere where carb cycling. Yeah, you can do that. That is it's almost like a reset, okay? Because you do stall, your body does get used to what you're taking in. I mean, if you're stuck on an island and eat coconut and drink coconut milk all the time until you run out, your body gets adjusted to that, and it'll level out. So, yeah, I mean, I've been known to do that. Nothing wrong with it. reset and start going again. But here's where I'm at right now. At my age, I am watching exactly what I eat. All right, I'm not worried about the scale. Well, I do go 2 or 3 pounds either way. My total loss was 72 altogether. All right. All of a sudden now I hit 70. Now my blood sugar is 200, a little bit below 200. Sometimes it goes up. Whatever I eat, something goes up to 220 or whatever like that. Sometimes if I have something completely nuts, up it goes. So there is something going on. We're going to get to the bottom of it and be real truthful about the whole thing. But I never felt better in my life. I really haven't. When I did fall off the wagon again with the carbs, that's when I got hurt. That's exactly when I got hurt with my leg. And so this way, it's tough, but you put your mind to it, you should be all right. All right, with that said, I wouldn't bag too much more. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button. Every Wednesday, I have the keto Tom Glover, the Keto Cook, every Wednesday. Different recipes and different things to eat, all whole foods. Go back and watch some of the older ones. I mean, really good to check some of the old. Some of the earlier ones are hysterical. I mean, I had no clue what I was doing. So, anyway, all right, listen, eat clean. Stay away from the junk. Stay away from the high carbs, high sugar. And let's keep rolling here. All right, everybody, thank you.